Shelley Wynter here with Deborah Dance. You're the candidate in Cobb for Cobb County Superior Court Clerk.
Right.
So I'm on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk, every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. I almost said the wrong time because they stole an hour from me. No, I'm just kidding. I want to start with breaking news this week. Cobb County court system had a blow up with some computers, a lot of problems, cases being pushed back, just a lot of chaos. Can you speak to that, Ms. Dance?
Yes, and I want to clarify that it's not just the court system, but it's specifically the Superior Court system, because that's a distinction we need to make when we talk about the court systems in Cobb. But the Cobb County Superior Court Chief Judge, Poole, issued an emergency order declaring that the state of affairs had become such in Cobb County that he needed to take action. He cited a number of situations that had occurred that relate to court inefficiency and ineffectiveness that put people at peril. And so he issued a direction to the Superior Court clerk to intervene and clean up the mess that had been created. And he also put in place some protections for citizens in the interim.
So now that was from the Superior Court to have the court clerk intervene. Were they involved with the issues that caused all these problems?
Right. So perhaps I misspoke in saying intervene, because what she needed to do was to clean up what she had begun to implement. The issue of delinquent court filings has been going on for some period of time and has gained a lot of attention over that time. In an attempt, it appears, to clear that up, a different system was implemented, but without initial preparations that were sufficient to make sure that it was operational. When it became operational, the court got out in front of it and actually said that the business of the court had ground to a halt at that time. But then he issued this subsequent order that was addressing the court's own, not the court's, but the clerk's own actions in not failing to implement the system in a manner that protected the interests of the court, the litigants, the defendants, the attorneys, and everyone. And so it's created quite a, if I can just use the term, ruckus.
Right.
In Cobb, and a lot of attention has been brought to the Superior Court Clerk's office and to the administration of the Superior Court.
Tell citizens that are watching this right now, why are delayed court filings? How does that impact them? Because when we, and then I'll have a secondary question behind this, but, how does something like delayed court filings, as a voter living in Cobb, how does that impact me? Assuming that I've got cases or I have a case in Cobb Superior Court.
Right. Now, maybe I could just recite a few things from
Absolutely.
The judge's order. What he said, in some instances, law enforcement has been unable to locate protective orders and bench warrants within the system, within the computer system.
So that means criminals are running free without someone looking for them.
Correct. Possibly other repercussions as well. And it says, and therefore the public safety officials are not able to enforce orders upon violators. I've had some individuals call me and say that they have had orders that have actually been entered by the court, but they've not been accessible to law enforcement officers, and therefore they've not been able to have those orders enforced. So that's a difficulty. The court also stated that notices usually distributed by the clerk's office have either not been sent to incorrect addresses, or included inaccurate information as to the time and location of court proceedings. I was at a session of the FOP this week when they...
What's FOP?
Fraternal Order of Police.
Gotcha.
When they described transporting prisoners from the jail to the courthouse one day, and they said, those... In order to get those prisoners to the courthouse, they have to begin dressing them and administering medications
Right.
and breakfast and all those kind of things, and have them to be prepared. But they had taken a number of folks to the courthouse, and they had sat there all day because it was not well organized enough to know when they were supposed to appear.
Gotcha.
And that it resulted in a great impact to the court. The judge also stated that schedules that are usually created by the clerk's office have been grossly erroneous, such that neither judge nor litigants or their attorneys understand what cases have been scheduled and for what date and time. That might also be an example
Right.
of bringing prisoners to the court at the wrong time. The judge also stated that the clerk's office had lost original documents, including original indictments and accusations. So this is a whole...
That's a problem.
Yes,
That's a
exactly. Case files have appeared in courtrooms with no original indictment or accusation. So in some measures, the judges have had to implement their own measures in order to protect citizens and litigants and these kind of folks. And I know that they do now require that the attorneys in different cases bring their own files to the court so that they can actually consider how those cases should happen. And that shouldn't be the procedure.
It's fascinating listening to you because, you know, I by nature of what I do for a living, and I'm a curious person, so I'm an avid reader. I consume news, everything. I never really knew exactly what a court clerk, whether it's Cobb or Fulton or any county, did. Now I'm understanding how crucially important this role is. Why are you running for it?
Okay, and just to comment upon what you just said, I think when this role is performed correctly, most people would not know that the role exists, because what it is a facilitative role. It's a role that is prescribed by statute. So the court clerk is primarily responsible for the filing of documents and the keeping of the public record.
Gotcha.
That serves people now. It serves people into the future. I had a former court clerk say that when he had the position, it was very clear to him that, you know, even so far into the future, if you're responsible for the collecting of records, it would affect individuals' rights to appeal and therefore their justice into the future. So I'm an attorney. I was formerly the county attorney. I served in that office for many years. I've never heard of this type of issue ever occurring. And the issue was, as I first heard it, was related to these issues of the timeliness and the effectiveness of the court proceedings. And as an attorney, I have a responsibility to the law. And I had retired from the county. I was serving on the planning commission, but I decided that there was a void here. And there was a void that could be uniquely filled by somebody who was experienced in the law and who understood the interplay of individuals within the community. One of the issues that the court raised in this order was to say that the current clerk did not involve the stakeholders in implementation of this system. And so if the stakeholders are involved in the implementation of this system and the correction of issues that have plagued the court in the most recent Superior Court clerk's administration, then I think that is a positive thing for the community. And I feel like I'm in a unique position and have a unique set of skills and connections in order to be able to bring those changes.
How can people get in touch with your campaign? If they want to volunteer, if they want to donate, where do they go?
Okay, if you go to my electdance.com website, that's where they can go.
And dance is like dance.
Dance is like, yes, like you do a dance.
So electdance.com.
And, you know, my numbers are on there. I'm happy to talk to anyone. I'm happy to bring about discussions and those kind of things.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you.